Our planet Earth has some of the most breathtaking landscapes. But unlike tourist-filled cities and towns, there are a few places no human should ever dare to visit. Here are the 15 most dangerous places on Earth.
Death Valley, California. Right along the state border that separates California and Nevada, in an area known as the Great Basin, exists Death Valley. Death Valley is recognized as one of the hottest places in the world, and just how hot is it actually? Well, on July 10, 1913, the United Weather Bureau recorded a temperature of 56.7 degrees Celsius, or about 134 degrees Fahrenheit. To this day, the temperatures recorded in 1913 remains the highest ambient air temperature ever recorded at the surface of the Earth. Surprisingly, while the temperatures during the daytime is shockingly high, they can plummet overnight, reaching a low of -10 degrees Celsius. While -10 might not sound so cold, anyone unlucky enough to find themselves lost overnight will most likely be ill-prepared. So let's assume that the temperatures don't get you first. Death Valley is also prone to severe storms that can produce massive amounts of lightning and severe flooding. For instance, on October 18, 2015, almost the entire desert floor was enveloped in water after a torrential downpour. Not only does the erratic weather present challenges for wildlife, but the area is infamous for mysterious disappearances and hikers who have met grim ends in the harsh desert. Number 9. Fraser Island, Australia. Fraser Island is the world's largest sand island, and at first glance it looks like a pure utopia of white sand and crystal clear waters. But instead it is a concentration of everything that is Australia. That is death. And horrifying things. Probably bad creatures too. Located 250 kilometers from the capital city of Brisbane, Fraser Island is home to just 182 people, and it's only about 123 kilometers wide, and the creatures that live upon it have given it a reputation as one of the world's most dangerous islands. In addition to its stunning beaches, Fraser Island is also covered in an array of plant life, including rainforest, eucalyptus woodland, mangrove forest, wallam and peat swamps, sand dunes, and coastal heaths. But it is what lives among the foliage that has led to the island's reputation. The island is home to 18 different varieties of snakes, 6 of which are considered highly dangerous, and one of which is the eastern brown snake, also known as the second most venomous snake known to man. You can also find numerous deadly spiders and over 300 varieties of ants there. If the creepy crawlies weren't enough to keep you off the island, it was also home to the last known population of pure dingoes. Unfortunately, after they attacked and killed a young boy in April of 2001, a major effort was undertaken to eradicate them and to prevent them from feeding on local trash cans. Unfortunately, this led to a population of around 200 dingoes who are malnourished and even more aggressive than previous generations. And if you happen to escape all the dangers that are directly on the island, the waters around it are no safer. The area is a haven for venomous jellyfish along with multiple types of sharks, including the great white. Oh, and also on top of the great white, there's also the bull and tiger shark, which are potentially more deadly to humans because they are known man-eaters who like our flesh. Oh, and also just to top off this little soiree of danger, the saltwater crocodile is here too, so oh, have fun. Number 8. Lake Nyos, Cameroon. This deep lake is positioned directly on the flank of an active volcano which presents a unique set of hazards. Located in northwest Cameroon, Lake Nyos is one of only 3 known exploding lakes, and it is easily the deadliest. Okay, so probably the question on everybody's mind, what is an exploding lake? This is where things get a bit scientific. Lake Nyos is located directly on top of a pocket of magma which slowly leaks carbon dioxide into the water, changing the simple H2O into carbonic acid. And then as it sits, this carbonic acid isn't horribly dangerous as long as you avoid the water. The bigger issue occurs when too much carbon dioxide builds up under said water. This is when the carbonic acid lake becomes a full-blown exploding lake. During what is known as limnic eruption, carbon dioxide bursts out from below the water and forms a deadly cloud. Because the gas is heavier than air, it pushes oxygen away from any area it envelops. This catastrophe took place on a massive scale in 1986 when the Lake Nyos released a massive CO2 cloud which claimed the lives of 1,746 people and 3,500 livestock in the surrounding towns and villages. In an effort to prevent this disaster from repeating itself, a series of venting tubes were installed in 2001 with upgrades to the system in 2011. But these measures don't necessarily mean that nearby villages are entirely safe. One of the natural walls of Lake Nyos is growing weaker, and experts fear that the levee may give way. If this happened, the lake full of carbonic acid would flow downstream into villages and even as far as Nigeria, releasing large amounts of carbon dioxide along the way. Number 7. Burkina Faso. So far, the majority of our entries have focused on places that are under constant threat from nature. However, our number 7 entry is a little bit different. Burkina Faso is a French-speaking country in West Africa. Unfortunately, the area has been plagued by years of conflict and violence, and today a largely corrupt government struggles to hold off rampant terrorist assaults that constantly threaten all those who live in the area. Unfortunately, these attacks tend to be motivated more by greed than political ideology. And rather than targeting government establishments, terrorist groups from neighboring Mali and Niger often swarm public places like hotels, cafes, or restaurants. Unfortunately, these are all places where travelers would readily be found, and for that reason, you probably don't want to risk a visit to Burkina Faso anytime soon. If the constant threat of violence didn't make life hard enough for the locals, the country suffers from perilously low health and education funding, and according to the UN Development Program report, Burkina Faso has the lowest level of literacy in the world.
Crystal Cave, Mexico. Make sure you stay safe and follow the guide rules carefully. Nika Crystal Cave, Mexico. The Nika Crystal Cave in Mexico is so mysterious and unexplored that National Geographic shot an hour-long documentary showcasing the dangers and wonders of the Crystal Cave. 3 scientists geared up for a deep exploration trip as they visited Nika's mountain's infamous cave. Located in the Kawaan Desert, this mountain is home to the biggest crystals in the world. As hot magma lurks below the cave, this Mexican destination is a heat stroke accident waiting to happen. The 3 scientists sent for an impossible mission had different goals in mind. Their main objective was to collect the crystal samples and to later observe them. There are these crystals the size of redwood trees. You stand there with your mouth wide open, said Chris McKay, a planetary scientist. Exciting and life-changing as this adventure might have been, one must remember that as soon as a person walks into the cave, their body starts to die. With incredibly high temperatures and unbearable humidity, the only way to approach such a cave was by using protective suits. But even with the appropriate attire, the scientists only have about a half hour to collect their samples and get out alive. George Kourounis, a well-known adventurer and documentary expert, was given the green light to spend only 1 day at the notorious Crystal Cave. It took the explorer 2 years to finally get the permission needed, but according to the Daredevil, it was worth the wait. It looks like Superman's Fortress of Solitude, says George. As far as the hot temperature goes, even George vouched for the cave's unbearable heat, commenting, "As soon as you walk in, you start to die." Number 5. Kawaan Volcano, Indonesia. Seeing the breathtaking and mesmerizing blue lava-like rivers of light might seem like a futuristic movie scene, but in reality, it's extremely poisonous Kawaan Lake. A stunning turquoise lake sits at the peak of Kawaan Volcano, and at night, electric blue flames can be seen rolling down the mountainsides. The absolutely jaw-dropping lake is full of hydrochloric acid, which is more corrosive than battery acid. The hydrogen chloride gas spewing from the volcano collides with sulfur-containing gases and creates a powerful chemical that is unimaginably corrosive. The Greek-Canadian explorer George Kourounis once again had the opportunity to explore one of the world's most dangerous places. The adventurer took a small rubber boat out into the acid lake to measure its acidity.
It's just a toxic lake of sulfuric acid. What could possibly go wrong?
The pH of the water was measured to be as low as 0.13. But even though this volcano and lake are clearly dangerous and deadly to humans, miners still risk their lives to collect the accumulated sulfur. George had watched these miners hard at work and recalls how the only protection they had was a wet rag stuffed into their mouth. The sulfur dioxide gas would still leak through and dissolve away their front teeth. Beautiful as it may seem, the Kawaan volcano and lake is one of the most dangerous places on Earth. Number 4. Mount Washington, New Hampshire, United States. It's a widely known fact that Mount Everest is not only the tallest mountain in the world, but is also the most dangerous mountain on Earth. And while no other great summit can come close to the incredible height and perplexity of Mount Everest, there's one other mountain in the world that holds a substantial title. Known as the most dangerous small mountain in the world, Mount Washington in New Hampshire is any hiker's worst nightmare. But what exactly makes this peak so hazardous? It's clearly not the height, but the wind. In April 1934, the highest ever wind velocity of 231 miles per hour was recorded on Mount Washington. Even at wind speeds of 60 miles per hour, hiking becomes nearly impossible. Powerful blowing winds and cold weather combine to intensify hypothermia. Freezing temperatures that drop to -40 Fahrenheit and continuous heavy snowfalls make Mount Washington a truly dangerous place to visit. Daredevil hikers who see this mountain as a beatable obstacle do heavy research before starting their unforgettable journey. Meticulous calculations have to be made in order to begin the adventure with appropriate weather. With over 150 recorded fatalities since 1849, it's paramount to embark on such an adventure extremely prepared and organized.
Snake Island, Brazil. Snake Island in Brazil is considered one of the deadliest places on Earth. This super deadly island is located 90 miles from Sao Paulo. It's home to the world's most concentrated population of snakes. According to research, Snake Island, also known as Ilha de Quimita Grande, has about 5 snakes per square meter. Snakes on this Brazilian island are said to be so venomous that they can melt human flesh. This island is the only place on the planet where the golden lancehead viper and the world's most venomous snake, the Bothrops, can be found. The Brazilian government has strictly prohibited tours to Ilha de Quimita Grande due to the extremely high risk for visitors and black market demand for lancehead venom. Number 3. Krigdal, Norway. The famous Krigdal Bolt is a popular attraction in Norway. This massive boulder is stuck between 2 vertical rocks nearly a kilometer above Lysefjord. Visitors have to overcome quite a strenuous 12-kilometer-long route to get to it. Tourists must descend and ascend several times along its entire length. Because of the moisture, much of the trail runs on the bare rock, are very slippery and dangerous. That's why avoiding going when the weather is foggy or raining is best. Those who successfully complete this route will be rewarded with breathtaking views from the Krigdal Plateau, as well as the opportunity to take the iconic photograph while standing in the Krigdal Bolton. However, you must climb it by strolling along a narrow rock ledge with your chest against the rock. For your safety, there's a ring that you can grasp. Even in dry weather, there's a chance of falling off or stumbling and moving down the rounded surface of the rock. Number 2. Death Road. This road in Bolivia earned its name as it has killed many people. The road connects La Paz, Bolivia's administrative capital, to the lower-lying Yungas and the Amazonian rainforest. According to estimates, 250 people have died there every year since it was built in 1930 by Paraguayan prisoners during the Chaco War. It has many dangerous characteristics, including a narrow single track with no guardrails, excessive fog, rains that blind the drivers, and steep slopes that drop up to 2,000 feet. Merchants who sell wood and crops to cities beyond have been known to use this notorious road because it connects the Amazon rainforest to the capital city. But the majority of them never made it through alive.
Elephant Kingdom, Thailand. The Elephant Kingdom, located in Chonburi, Thailand, is thought to be the world's most terrifying tourist attraction. While cities and towns all over the world offer beautiful scenery and historic castles, this particular tourist attraction offers something completely different. Even though the name Elephant Kingdom might make you think this famous Thailand destination is stretched out land inhabited by elephants, in reality, it's something quite the opposite. Have you ever wanted to climb into a metal cage and feed reptiles? Well, the notorious Elephant Kingdom offers just that. Tourists from all over the world gather in Chonburi in the hopes of feeding live 10-foot-long crocodiles, only separated by a metal cage that is kept afloat with plastic barrels. There is little to no barrier against the deadly reptiles. Tourists on board of the metal cages often don't realize that they themselves could end up being the crocodile's meals. The small caliber rafts were often broken down and unsafe. The empty plastic barrels that held up the cage would often sink or move, adding suspense to the already tense situation. When a tourist captured the now viral photo of tourists dangling food for the reptiles, social media went berserk. The international outcry forced the Thai government and local police to finally step in and take proper measures. This extremely dangerous and over-the-top park was finally shut down in 2016 on the counts of numerous safety hazards.